Hello again, football fans. Welcome to Friday Night Varsity Flashback, back for another season. I'm Rachel George, joined by Schoonmaker here in our newly created studio. Plenty of BB&T Jamboree action to recap for you. 24th annual, 5 scrimmages, 10 teams, lots of football. Let's jump in right away. Laney versus Wallisers Hill in the first one. The Bucks coming off a winless season and really trying to improve upon that. Mike Sheehan, their quarterback, was missing for much of the year with a broken collarbone. Didn't show any signs of time off as he and Tevin Clay hooked up plenty of times during the night. Let's see what Coach Greg Dietz had to say about that.
We still took advantage of our passing game. You know, Michael Sheehan's going to be a great quarterback for us with Ernest Andrews out there, Tevin Clay out there, Laquan Grady. Those guys are going to do a great job for us on offense and our offensive linemen. You know, Stephen Metzger, a senior there. We're going to have a great offensive squad, and I thought our defense finally settled in and started doing some great things at the end of the game.
Now, kind of on the opposite end of Laney's season last year, Wallace is coming off a state title,
Right.
and kind of the bread and butter from that was their running game. Actually, tonight it was kind of shut down a little bit, but they did get their play action pass working really effectively, and their defense played very, very well, especially against the run. When Laney did run there a few times, one drive kind of got to them, but really good all-around effort, and Joey Price really reiterated that after the fact.
They shut our running game down pretty well, but when we were out of football a little well, I was a little pleased with that. And I thought our defense played well to that last little drive right there. I thought our defense played good all day.
And then in the next scrimmage of the evening, Ashley at South Columbus. Beforehand, I got a chance to talk to Jason Tyndall. Great approach to the evening. You know, he's going to look at this a little bit differently than some other coaches.
We look at this from just like any other practice. We're going to have it filmed so we can evaluate all the players at all the positions, whether it's a first teamer, a third teamer, second teamer. So it's really just a glorified practice. It's really good for the community to kick off football season.
Jason Tyndall also said Ashley football is not going to change. That program's still going to be about passing. Sometimes it pays off. On this play here, I think we have a tip one that ended up being caught for a touchdown by the second receiver near the play. A little bit later on, that leads to getting picked off, but still, that's where their bread is buttered on the passing game. On the other side of that scrimmage was South Columbus, and they are the ground game. Those running backs, we wrote about it in the tab, they know what they're doing on the ground. Kind of a double-headed monster tonight. Rontonio Stanley, quick and speedy. Jamal Hemingway, a little bit stronger, pushed through the line. Definitely got South Columbus going, and Aaron got a chance to catch up with them after the scrimmage.
All right, we're here with Jamal Hemingway, Rontonio Stanley, kind of two-headed monster, the stallion backfield. Fellas, what's it like to carry the load, knowing that they know you're going to run the ball all day long?
There's a lot of pressure, man. I mean, we got to do what we got to do.
Both you guys going 1,000 yards this year?
Yeah.
I don't know about him.
No, we going more than 1,000. We're going about 2,000 this year.
I got to make up for that.
2,000 each?
Yeah, it don't matter to us.
Yeah, I think it's official. Rontonio Stanley, not slow.
No, he's not.
But in the third scrimmage of the night, Hoggard, West Brunswick, not a lot of offense here. A lot of defense. I don't know whether the defense was good or the offense was bad, but not a lot of gains, not a lot of positive yards. West Brunswick did manage an early score, and true to form, Hoggard managed a field goal. Their kicking game, you know, it's going to be there year after year. Before that scrimmage, I got a chance to talk to both head coaches, and really they kind of talked about the playoff atmosphere of playing in front of all these fans for scrimmages.
Yeah, it's a great way to kick off the football season. It generates a lot of excitement and interest in high school football in this area. It's a great opportunity for these young guys to come out and play football in front of a big crowd, kind of a playoff atmosphere here even before the season starts.
You know, I'm sure they're going to be a little nervous starting out, but I think the good thing is they're getting the experience in front of a large crowd, so and it's almost like a playoff atmosphere. So I think, you know, they get some great experience here, and then hopefully next week, you know, they'll even be better.
Also on display Friday night, Whiteville, Jacksonville. You know, with Whiteville, they're probably going to get a pretty disciplined team under Baxter Morris. And tonight we saw a little bit of run, a little bit of play action. They tried to establish something. Neither team could really get it going, but you see what they're trying to do offensively with the ball. Kind of be disciplined yet mix it up.
And what ended up being a pretty wild nightcap, New Hanover took on South Brunswick. We caught up with New Hanover coach Kevin Motzinger before the scrimmage, and he talked about their youth and their struggles on defense.
The only thing that I was concerned about with the young kids was if their eyes got so big that all of a sudden, you know, they weren't running full speed.
Right.
And our kids, you know, they're flying around, getting to the football, playing Wildcat football, and you know, they just got to grow up, and that's our job. That's why they call us coach. You know, we've got to be patient. You know, we've got to do a good job as a coaching staff and not throw too much at them, because football is about blocking and tackling. Right now, we're not very good at either one of them.
That Wildcat defense that's so young was tested right away. Gives up this big screen pass to the Cougars, avoids some tackles, really makes, I think it ended up with 46 yards on that play. And then the catch of the night in the end zone, Cam Scott goes up and grabs it out of the air over there on the right side from Nawan Watts. Really a beautiful catch. The defense was resilient, battled back. It was 14-14 late, and then interception there in the final minute by South Brunswick. Take it from the 50 in for the touchdown. They end up pulling away 21-14. That gives the visitors a second win in a row. They go ahead 63-31. Definitely an interesting night. What was one thing you took away from it?
I think the thing that stands out to me the most is South Columbus in their running game. They ran at will. They could not be stopped inside, outside. They didn't even have to mix it up. It was no secret what they were doing, and they ran all over. So I think, you know, the two-headed monster, the two-headed stallion backfield, look for good things. They wanted to forget last year. They could be remembering this year.
Absolutely. I would say the big thing for me, it goes across the board to several of the schools. This is really a rebuilding year in a lot of places, and I know some of the coaches will be upset that I said that, but a lot of the schools, a lot of the teams tonight were pretty young. We mentioned New Hanover, 19 sophomores. Laney, still pretty young, coming off a winless season. Ashley has whittled down its roster, has probably had the same number of players as South Columbus. Whiteville graduated a lot of its talent. Wallace graduated a lot of its talent. Right. So a lot of these teams are coming into the season with question marks. How are they going to fill in and try to do what some of those guys did last year that made them also successful? So we shall see.
Right.
Well, that's it for us this week. Be sure to check back on Wednesday for Friday Night Varsity Preview. We'll have some interesting changes in there, some picks, some props, all good football stuff coming up.
Good stuff. Check it out.
Absolutely. Otherwise, everything else you need, schedules, standings as soon as we have them, all that stuff will be on starnewsvarsity.com. But for this week, for Aaron Schoonmaker and myself, Rachel George, this has been Friday Night Varsity Flashback.